Okay, Sam from RoadTrailRun. Let's talk about the New Balance FuelCell line. So what is FuelCell? Well, FuelCell is New Balance's newest foam. It has a minimum of 39% more rebound than its firmer, older Revlite. Don't have the stats how it compares to fresh foam, but it's kind of a bouncier foam than that. It can be tuned in different ways. So each shoe in the line has different characteristics. I have three here to show you today. In the middle, the Prism, FuelCell Prism, which is coming out right now, which has a light stability element, which you can see here. It's co-molded. The Propel V1 with the V2 coming real soon. Propel V2, there appear to be some changes to the upper, more like the Prism, and to the midsole geometry. And we'll be updating the video as soon as we test it. And finally, the deluxe, fantastic FuelCell TC, which has a carbon plate, and for my feeling and comparing side by side, the softest fuel cell, but also the most dynamic ride. You'll note that the FuelCell TC and the Prism both have a thin engineered mesh upper. You can actually see light through it. I'll try to show you that. So it's a very comfortable upper, and so far I'm finding in all this humidity, both of them absorb very little humidity. Now our Propel V1 has a denser upper, denser mesh, and its reinforcement doesn't come from the 3D elements of the engineered mesh as much as it comes from the stitching. The other shoe in the lineup, which I don't have my pair here with me, is the 890 V8. The 890 V8 is also a 6mm drop shoe. It's considerably firmer, we found, and more a kind of workout shoe. It has a very performance-oriented, very comfortable engineered mesh upper. In terms of weight, drop, and price. So drop, they're all 6mm drop shoes except for the TC, which is a 10mm drop shoe. The Prism in the center there comes in my 8.5 US at 7.86 ounces or 223 grams, so it's the lightest. Followed by the 890 at 227 grams, 8 ounces. Then we have the Propel at 8.67 ounces, 246 grams. And finally, the TC with its carbon plate and more cushion at 248 or 8.75 ounces. In terms of price, our Prism is and 890 are at 120, the Propel is at 110, and the TC is at 200. Let me just show you quickly the outsoles. That we have a full coverage of rubber in the front here on the TC, just above, just below the carbon plate, which is towards the bottom. Here we have a combination of carbon rubber and blown rubber, and in the Propel, something similar. What I found though is even with its broader platform, the Propel and New Balance tells me the same durometer or firmness of foam in the Propel and the Prism. The Propel is considerably softer, almost too soft at the heel for me, whereas I really like the feel here of the Prism. I get off the heel quicker. I think the medial post here, the co-molded medial post, which is a 65 durometer with a midsole 45, really acts as kind of a pivot. I have another video you can see of on the Prism here on the channel. So we're going to update this video as soon as we get the Propel V2, because it does look like it sees some changes. Here's a picture. It clearly appears to get the same kind of engineered mesh upper as the Prism and the TC, and it looks like the midsole geometry has changed. And now I'm going to take them out, do some A/B tests, and tell you what I find. Let's talk a bit about the difference in fit and ride here between the Prism on the left and the Propel V1 on the right, both fuel cell shoes. So we'll be soon receiving the Propel 2 version 2, which looks quite different. But for those who already have tried the Propel, let's talk about the differences. So in terms of the upper, clearly the Propel upper with its stitching for reinforcement is thicker and warmer than our Prism, which has a thin engineered mesh with, you can see, a lot of 3D support detailing. The toe box of the Propel is wider, as is the midfoot. So the Propel would be a great shoe for a wide foot person. I don't find its foothold nearly as good as in the Prism here, which leans, I think, more performance oriented. It's lighter. The stability post, which we talked about there, definitely gives it a bit more, if you will, propulsion off the heel. I find the broader heel of the Propel 1 softer. Transition off the heel a little slower, so it's a little bit easier going. At the forefoot, the Prism has more response. It's snappier and a little less cushioned, I think, overall. I don't have the stack heights for both, but I believe the Propel may have a little bit more stack height, which, along with the upper of the version 1, may explain the additional weight. So what might you use them for? Well, I might think of the Prism as your up-tempo shoe and the Propel as an easier going day shoe, if you like a soft ride. So let's talk a little bit about the comparative fit and ride of our Prism to our top of the line FuelCell TC. So the uppers are very, very similar. Same kind of engineered mesh with that 3D texturing. I would say the TC's is just maybe a touch softer to the touch. In terms of the fit, very similar in the toe box. I am noticing at the heel, especially on the medial side, a little bit better hold from our Prism. Maybe because of the post in the mix. In terms of the ride, well, the ride of the TC is one of our favorites of the year. Pretty much all of our testers is just sumptuous. It has more cushioning than our Prism up front. Same kind of fuel cell, although I think it's maybe a touch softer actually. You've got more stack. You've got the carbon plate, so you have a combination of sumptuous cushion, some bounce, and some spring, if you will, from the plate. I've noticed my cadence seems a little faster, of course, than the TC. Now, the Prism, nothing wrong with the Prism. Quite a bit less money, a little bit more responsive, firmer workout feel. Probably a little more stable as well, at least that's what I'm feeling because of the post, though I wouldn't call it a pure stability shoe. So it's kind of a difficult choice to go all the way or go with the Prism, a more sort of workouts oriented shoe with a touch of stability. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to have a full multi-test review of the Prism real soon. We have an initial review here on the channel, and we will soon be testing the Propel V2. So please subscribe to our channel and visit RoadTrailRun.com for our full multi-tester written reviews.